welcome to the next series of our Blender project. In today's video, we're going to make windows and blinds, but before we get started, let's take a quick break and look at this great commercial. Now that we've passed the commercial, let's go ahead and start modeling these windows. First, I'm going to turn on the screencast keys for you so you can follow along. And the next thing I want to do is go in here to my mesh primitives, create a plane. I want to rotate it by 90 on X, and I want to scale it down. This is going to be the primitive in which we create the window frame from. I'm going to write down some measurements here that I actually took over a real window. The height was 58 inches. The width was 27.5 or 27.5 inches, and I'm basically going to mimic that with this model so it's to scale. Alright, so now that we've got that as our baseline, let's now come in here and let's build it. So I'm going to come back to object mode. I've got the end panel open, so I'm going to go in here for X, which will represent our width, 27.5 inches, and then Y will be our height. That'll be our 58 inches. And notice I am in metric, but I am just putting in the units there, standard units in there by hand. Then I want to head to reset the scale, and I'm going to inset it in a little bit. Because from here, I'm going to do some cuts. And those cuts are going to help define like the panes of the window. Not the actual glass, but you'll see the panes. I'm just going to kind of mimic this out from this primitive here. I'm going to come in here and we're going to create our new file, which we're all going to glue these together in our scene file at the end of the project. So right now, let's name this window-blind.blend. And I'm going to go ahead and fix this where I've got a capitalized W. Just keep it consistent, make it lowercase like these guys. And then let's save our file. So now that we've got this done and our scale is set, we're good to go. So that means if we run a modifier on this, nothing crazy is going to happen. And go to edit mode, and I want to extrude this out instead of running a solidify. Not that it changes anything. You could do either one, but just for me, it's just quicker to just do a extrusion here. And I'm just kind of looking at it and trying to figure out what my game plan is going to be, because like I told you guys, when I do these videos, a lot of times I'll build this stuff in the raw. I don't build versions of this beforehand. So let's do 2 loop cuts here. And what I want to do is I want to spread them apart to kind of mimic the distance of these panes. Or I should say, I guess you call it not the pane, but the lattice is what it is. Like the little window piece that separates the panes of glass. That's what we're making here. Let me go back in here. That didn't look right. I didn't really like the way that looked. So let's try something different. So let's go to edge select mode. I'm going to select one of these. And I want to bevel these. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for. I'm going to get the distance relatively correct. Just for full disclosure, I am not measuring these, by the way. I am eyeballing them. Because when we put this together in the scene, it's not going to really matter. This whole portion of the project, the windows and blinds, it's just going to need to look detailed enough. Because it's not the main character in the scene that we're building. It's going to be kind of off in the distance. But light is going to be shining through it, so we need a little bit more detail here, but we're not going to make it very detailed at all for that reason. All right. So let's go in here and pick some panes of glass here. And I'll pick them on the other side because we've got some thickness here now. And let's run an inset on the individual origin. So if you hit I twice, that kind of does that. And I want to extrude these along the normals, and basically I'm sucking these windows in. Like so. And this is a good start. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to run like a little bevel edge on the outside of this. Don't really need to because I'm not going to run sub D on this because it's all angular. So there's really no need to. But I do want to make it look rounded in certain areas. So that's why we ran some bevels here. And now what I've come in and done, because I've cut this out of the video, I've gone in and I've added in some shapes. Right now, I'm going to create the locking mechanism for the window, and it doesn't, like I said, doesn't need to be very detailed. I'm just going to create a cube, and I just want the illusion that there's a lock there, if that makes sense. And all I want to do is scale this down. I'm going to bring it up a little bit so it doesn't look like it's eating into that geometry. And what we're doing here, guys, is super simple stuff. But I just want to show you how to do it because I know most of my subscribers here on the channel are new to Blender. And hopefully some of you who will be joining and becoming subscribers here will be new Blender users. I'm just trying to help you think through the thinking around solving these problems. And trying to explain to you why I make some of the decisions that I make. So what I'm doing here is I'm isolating this. I'm going to grab that face and I'm just going to bring it in. Because I want this to look like two pieces. But they're just nothing more than cubes. They're two little cubes we just scaled down. So watch, I'm going to select this, I'm going to duplicate it, move it over. So when light shines in and hits it, it gives it some depth and dimension, and it looks a lot fancier and a lot more detailed than it really is. But behind the scenes, we cheated in a good way. I believe in good cheating, not bad cheating. So, and this is typically done in like design studios. The further an object is away from the camera, the less detailed it needs to be. It just needs to fool the eye into thinking that a lot of work and detail was put into it. So what I'm doing now is I'm creating a circle because this is one of those locks. It has like the little flip lock. You flip it with your thumb or your finger, and it loads the locking system to close the window or lock the window down. We just need to make it kind of look like that. I'm not going by any reference image. I'm not using any kind of photos or anything to make this. I know what it should look like in my head. So I'm just making something that kind of mimics it, because keep in mind, when we finish building this, the blinds are going to cover all of this detail. But if it were a situation where light hits it just the right way and you kind of see that there's something there, that's what I'm shooting for. I want to fool the eye into thinking there's a lot more detail here than there really is. So I'm isolating this shape, and let's do a grid fill. Just keep all quads here. And it's a bit small, but we'll scale it up here in a second. I'm gonna run a bevel on this because I am gonna run sub D on this one piece here, and you'll see why, because we're gonna build some pieces off of this shape. So let's go in here, let's grab some faces. Here, here, and here. And let's extrude these out. Not on individual, so if you hit I a third time, it'll go back to just insetting the whole selection, if that makes sense. So now this is curved on the end because we pulled it from that circle, but I'm flattening those out by setting the size on Y to 0. And what you're seeing right now is clipping, camera clipping. So bring out the end panel, go to the view tab, and then under clip start, I'm gonna add another 0 in there and watch what happens. I can now be able to zoom in closer to my object without it clipping or eating into the geometry. It's only a visual thing. It's not really eating into the geometry. So we fix it that way, right? So what I want to do here is I want to create a loop cut, and I'm just basically trying to find a face that I can control. I'm gonna do a slight inset on it, right? So we got all quad solution here. And I'm going to extrude this out, and this is going to be like the little locking handle, the little flip handle that you actually use your finger or your thumb to actually lock the window with. And like I said, it just needs to kind of look like it. So I'm going to grab this edge here. I'm going to bring it over or drag it over on the x-axis to give it that shape. Put some loop cuts in here. And we got a big giant ingon here, which is fine, but just for the sake of not teaching you guys bad habits, I'm going to tuck this geometry up right here just a little bit. I mean, I'd personally been fine leaving it there because it's an ingon on a flat surface, which is fine. But you know, if some of you guys here are trying to be in the gaming industry, it's just a bad habit to teach you that it's okay to leave ingons anywhere. So, but you'll see for like product modeling and stuff I'm doing, it's perfectly fine. All right, so I got a level 3 on this sub D. but we're gonna see it's too small. So what I'm gonna do is I want to scale it out. But that's why context is key. So let's zoom out. Let's see how big it is in reference to the two little cubes there. Way too small, so that's easy. We're just gonna scale it up quite a bit. Probably bring it up a little bit more. And let's try to get it into place. Just suck it down in this geometry and scale it up just a hair more. Yeah, that looks about right. Bring it back in. Like I said, I'll say this for like the 5th time. I'm just trying to get it to kind of look right. Because at distance, it'll look right. It'll fool you. Yeah, I'm digging that. Now the two little cubes on each side, I may get rid of them. I'm just adding some detail here, but I don't really think I need it. But for now, I'm gonna leave it. But I'll probably end up getting rid of those just for you guys here in the video, because they don't really do anything. They're not really adding anything to this model. I just want the lock, because when we multiply this window, the lock is gonna be the main thing. Because each major section of this window, I want it to be able to lock individually. Because if this were a real window, you'd be able to pull that whole bottom piece up. All right, so I'm renaming stuff, throwing it in the collection. I'm gonna do a little color thing as usual. Yeah, these two cubes right here is what I'm thinking about. I think I'm gonna get rid of them, but let's just see. I'll name them for now in case I keep them, but I'm thinking I'm gonna get rid of them. So. And let's throw those guys in that collection as well. If I can figure out how to do that. There we go. All right, so now I'm running a materials preview in here. And what I want to go ahead and do is I want to select all these panes of glass. And let's just run a glass shader on those. And because we extruded along normals, we only have to select the one side. We don't have to select both sides. So what I want to do is I'm going to create a standard like global material first. The material window, that's going to be like the white frame of the window. And then I create a second shader, material.glass, and then I assign it to my selection, just like we've done in previous videos. This then allows us to have two materials for this one object. And I'm just going here and kind of tweaking it. Yeah, I'm digging that. And I'm grabbing the little pieces here, the little lock, and I'm making sure that they inherit the window material. And I'm gonna show you guys a new little trick here. So I'm selecting that first one because I'm gonna show you how to do multiple objects and do that. You hit Control L and link materials, and it will copy over the material of the main selected thing. So you just saw me apply the materials to multiple objects at once. It took me a long time to find that trick. Now I'm gonna parent everybody together. So this becomes like one window. And let's look at in front ortho. Let's run an array modifier. Bam, look at that. Now we got 2 windows. Now we got 3 windows. Just that quick. This is what's gonna fit in that hole that we made in the last video for the room. And if you notice, I went ahead, I cut it out of the video, but I got rid of those little 2 boxes on that was in the window on the right and left side, and I just have the locks now. So just so you guys, or if you guys are trying to keep up with this video, I did get rid of those pieces after all, and I like it a lot better like this. So window is done pretty much. So now let's move on to the blinds. So let's go in and create a plane, because I think a plane's gonna be better than a cube for this. I'm gonna rotate it by 90 on X. I'm working in front ortho, just if you guys are following along. I'm gonna scale it all the way down, and basically what we're creating is we're creating that top shade. It's like I guess it's like a visual aesthetic guard. It hides like the little piece that all the blinds, like if you roll the blinds up, it hides that piece where all the blinds roll up to, or the string rolls up to. It's more of a decorative thing. That's what we're creating right now. You'll know what I don't know what it's called, but I know what it looks like. So, and I know what it does, but you'll see you'll see that that's what we're making right now. So I'm running in some loop cuts. These are just for decoration. This is part of the make it look good enough effects I'm doing. So I'm going to extrude along the normals of this, and I'm going to bring it in just to make it look beveled. Very, very basic. This, I would say, is the second easiest thing that we're going to build in this project. It's going to get harder on the next one though. All right, so let's run an array modifier on that because I want to duplicate it across all of my windows, or my window frames. And they all look kind of glued together, and we don't want that. We want there to be a little bit of natural gap between them. So if you look at a real window, there's a little bit of gap between them because they're different physical pieces when you actually put this window together. So I use the array modifier, and I just change the factor. So I just tweak on the factor there, and that puts that nice little gap in there. And that's how you work that thing. Now, right now it's just floating in space, but eventually we'll have it where it's physically connected to the window frame back there. All right, so I'm kind of coming in here looking at this from a different angle, and I'm bringing in a circle because from this we're going to bring this down. We're essentially going to create a cylinder, and that cylinder is going to be the rod that's on your Venetian blinds that basically when you turn it left or right, that opens and closes the blinds. We're not going to make it functional. We just want it to be there in the scene so it looks right. It looks like it belongs there. So I create it from a circle. And I'm not going to put too much detail in it, as you'll see. I'm just kind of bringing it up into place where it needs to be. Let's zoom in. Let's go to X-ray mode. And I want all the stuff at the top, all the verts at the top. And I want to extrude in size, like we've done in pretty much every video, and then I just want to grid fill it. Another thing I want to do, because I do want to run sub D on this piece, is I am going to select the edge loop at the top after we do the bottom, and I'm going to bevel that just like we've done, just to constrict where sub D can round everything off. Let's put some loop cuts in here. Let's do 32. Why 32? Because it's divisible by 4. 4 for quad. And let's grab this edge and let's slightly put a bevel on it. Let's do the same at the top. Keep it consistent. This is going to help with sub D. Yeah, I am feeling it. It's coming together, guys. We're knocking this one out fast. All right, so there's our rod. And the only thing we may have to adjust on it is some positioning. So let's go ahead and let's give this stuff some names. So I'm going to model.blind.cover. And then this one's going to be model.blinds.stick. I probably should have called it a rod, but I called it a stick. Doesn't matter. We know what it is. And now let's go up here and create a plane, because now we're going to create a blind. All I need to make is one blind. This is going to be awesome. Check this out. For those of you who've been using Blender for a while, you'll know this trick. It's very common. For those of you who are new to Blender, hopefully you'll find this pretty cool. I remember the first time I saw this done, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. So we only need to get one blind right, and you'll see what happens after that. So I'm moving my plane into place, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to like line it up and look at it. So I'm flipping between a perspective mode and between an ortho mode. I'm gonna select all of the edges on here, and I want to bevel them. And why am I doing that? In the event I end up running sub D on this, which I don't think I'm going to, because you don't get much more angular than this. It's a big old rectangle. Really no need to sub D it. Let's put some loop cuts in here, some support loops, not support coops. So you have some pretty loose and nice geometry. So that's good. And notice that it's eating into our rod or our stick. So we're going to reposition that here in a second. But I want the blinds to look as if they're partially open, but more closed than open, because the purpose of this is to recreate that scene from that photo. is we want light that's like kind of shine through. I don't want light blasting through. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have to get the angle right. So let's angle this on X. So I'm rotating it on X. I'm holding down the shift so I can like kind of adjust how much I want those blinds open. That right there looks pretty good. It looks about like what I remember in the picture. Okay, so I'm gonna move them back, because if you look at the real blinds, if you look at real Venetian blinds, the blind itself is offset to the rear from that piece, that cover up there at the top. So now what I want to do is I want to make this cover to where it like is, I'll run like a piece that's off of this and will eat into the window frame to look like it's physically connected. And like I said, no detail. We're just gonna go low poly detail just to give the illusion. So I'm creating a loop cut, and what I want to do is I want to scale that loop cut out, and then I'm going to make another cut there, and I'm going to do the same on the other side, because you'll see I'm trying to get to where I can select some square faces, because that's where I'm going to pull that part off from, or that selection off from. So I'm going to grab and select this face, then I'm going to go to the other side as soon as I can control my keyboard, and let's select that face. And what I want to do from here is I want to extrude these into the frame of the window. And there might be some adjustment that needs to happen. Let me look at it. Yeah, I think I need to scale this a little bit. Yeah, because it's too low. So let's grab the whole thing, because this is one piece of geometry. And let's move it up just a hair, just so it's a little bit more centered with the top of that frame. Yeah, about like that. And can you guys see what we're doing now? And I'm gonna grab the stick or the rod and the blind, and I'm just gonna bring them up too to compensate for us moving that cover up. And if you notice, no longer is the blind eating into the rod. So now what I want to do is I want to come here, I want to name that blind. So I'm gonna call it model.blind.shade. I know it sounds confusing, but at the time in which I was naming this stuff, I was just naming it. So now we're gonna run an array modifier on this guy too, and this is gonna be a little tricky because we've got it at an angle. And see, it's going straight out on that angle. And I am using a relative offset for now, but soon I realize I need a constant offset, which means no matter what, these are exact numbers. I guess that's about the easiest way to describe this. And I'm gonna be adjusting Y and Z because I want Z to shoot it back towards the window frame. And it's just a matter of getting the formula between these two values right. And if you can see, you pause the video, you can see the numbers I ended up with. And now I can update the count and roll blinds all the way down to the bottom of this window frame. Like so, like you're seeing here. Look at that. I made one blind and then all the other blinds are aliases of it. So if I need to change the blind, I change it that first one at the top, and all of these will propagate and inherit the change. And now look at that. We're just in solid mode, and you can see all the detail behind it, even though there's not a lot of detail back there. So now I want to run another array modifier, and I want to bring it array it on X. And I'll just do it by 3. And if you look here, we got blinds that go all the way across this window. However, they look like one blind. They're all stuck together. So we don't want it looking like that. So let's come in here and let's make some small adjustments. And remember, I showed you before, if you change the factor will give it the gap. And now we have blinds that look realistic, even though they're super low poly. Everything about this is low poly. Let's create another array for the rod or stick. And we're gonna do the same thing. This time I'm just gonna stick with relative offset, and I'm just gonna crank up that X factor until it's where it needs to be. Like about right there. If we want to change that one rod, redesign it, add more detail, less detail, you do the one and it will propagate to the other two. We're using array modifiers heavily in this tutorial. So this is one of the things I want you guys to get out of it, is how to use the array modifier to save yourself a lot of time. And also use high poly, high density, high detail when you need to, and don't when you don't need to. Just makes your life a whole lot easier. And we're going in here and I'm selecting the covers, the blinds, and all these things. I'm creating materials for them. I know I'm rolling kind of fast on this one. This should not be a long video because we're getting close to being done with this project. I think there's like 2 or 3 more videos in this project series. But this one is a quick one, and I wanted to kind of go a little bit faster in this one just to show you guys how easy this stuff really was to do. All right, so I'm going in here and I'm just applying these blinds materials to everything. And we're done. Go to cycles and see what it looks like. We're done with this. Great work. If you guys like this type of content, like and subscribe and join the fun, and we're gonna do a lot more stuff coming up. These videos will progress as we go, but I'm starting to feel confident you guys are doing really well with the modeling. We're gonna do the next one, which I think will be the lights, so I'll see you on the next video. Take care and keep blendering.